everyone, and welcome to this course on SQL. Now, before we begin, it is useful to know what a database is and what its various models are. Data is a collection of individual pieces of information. A database is a collection of data that is stored in an organized manner so it is easy to navigate. A database management system stands as an intermediary between a database and its various users so they can get and insert relevant data into it. A database can be organized in various different ways. These are known as database models. Let's try and look at a few models by using an everyday example. This is Jane Smith. She has a day off from work tomorrow. She intends to spend it by completing several pending errands. Before she goes to bed, she makes sure that she writes a list so she doesn't forget anything. The list looks something like this: buy milk, pay the insurance bill, fill up petrol in the car, and so on. Now Jane has come up with a list of 10 items and she's clearly made it up as she went along. This is an example of a flat file database model. That is, there is no relationship between different sets of records. Now, what are the problems with this format? As we can see, there is no link between individual points. So when Jane goes out to buy milk, she'll have to search the entire list to see if there's anything else that she can get in the supermarket. Now, how can you solve this? The list can be rewritten in an organized way. One of the ways is by using a hierarchical model. Now her day off from work has dawned and Jane is off to the supermarket. She needs to take only the list titled supermarket to make it easy. She buys all the items on this list and heads off to the next set. Her next set of jobs has nothing to do with the previous set of jobs. That is, her buying milk has nothing to do with paying the insurance bill. This way of doing her jobs has gone on excellently for Jane, but it is not without its problems. She wants to devise a system where she can keep up with pending jobs every week without writing and rewriting lists. She also wants her husband John to help. He agrees, but how can we ensure both of them do not buy milk at the same time? Also, some of the jobs on this list get done weekly, some done monthly, some as and when required. What if one of them goes to the supermarket but milk was unavailable? How do we create and manage a database where all these problems can be solved? The answer is by using the relational model of arranging a database. A relational model creates multiple tables of data, all of which are linked through one column or another. Let's see how we do it. For clarity, Jane decides to give a job ID to each job, where it is done, along with how often the job needs to be done. She draws up a table with this information. This is fine, but how to ensure that they're not done twice? By having another table assigning the jobs to either Jane or John and the date on which the job is to be done, which is updated, say, weekly. Notice that in this table, the call up plumber and buy a new pair of shoes are not mentioned. As they are done as and when required, they are added to the table then with no problems. So how does the system work? This week, John does the supermarket shopping according to the table. Let's have a look at it. As he buys each item, he simply deletes the record or updates the date to the next week. If any item was unavailable, he either reassigns it to Jane or updates it to the next possible day where he can do it. Now, what are the advantages with this system? Clarity. It is easy for each person to know which job they're supposed to do, where to do it, and when. Easy data modification. If either Jane or John are busy that week and cannot do every job, the second table can be easily modified. Also, if a new job appears, for example, pick up clothes from the dry cleaners, You can add it to the first table in a single step. No data duplication or corruption. As every piece of information is added only at a single place, there is no possibility of it getting updated wrongly in different tables. Easy searching. Because you can search for jobs by date or by person responsible or by job ID, it is far easier to find the job you're looking for. This format of maintaining a database is called the Relational Database Management System. Data is stored in tables and every table in the database is linked. In this case, the job ID. Now what is SQL? It is short for Structured Query Language. It is a programming language designed specifically to work with a relational database. In this course, we'll work with the MySQL 5.6 community server. Let's move on to its download and installation instructions. To install MySQL, go to Google and type in MySQL 5.6 community server. It shows up as the very first result, so click on it. Now here, select the platform that your PC uses, in my case, Microsoft Windows, and click on Download. Here, there are two options. If during installation, your internet connection is going to be active, download the first link. If not, download the second. It says 32-bit, but it will install correctly for 64-bit operating systems as well. My internet connection is going to be on, so I'm clicking the first link. You can sign up for an Oracle web account if you want. I'm not, so I'm just starting my download. Now click on your installation file. Accept the license terms here. Leave it at developer default. You can change the installation directory here, but I really recommend that you do not. Because the developer default includes products that may not be in your systems, it will have failing product requirements, but don't worry about this for right now. Now if you click execute, all these files will be downloaded and installed on your system. This will take some time. Once it is complete, click on next and next again to configure the server. Do not change the port here. Click on next. Now here you need to give a password that is easily remembered by you because you need to give it at the start of every session. Now here you could add users to your database that can use your database with relevant permissions. We are not going to have any users for now, so just click on next. Do not untick the MySQL server at system startup, because if you do, you will need to manually start your server every single time you wish to use your database. Click execute to finish. Once it is done, click finish and click next. Here you will need to give the password that you gave earlier, but it's already typed out for you. Click check so that the connection becomes successful. Click next and execute once again. Once it is done, click finish, next, and finish again. Now that we're done with the installation, let's start the server once to see if everything is working fine. Now go to your search bar and search for MySQL command line client. Right click on it and pin to taskbar. Enter the password that you gave during the installation. It's working fine, and from the next chapter onwards, we will learn how to use it. Type in exit and you're done.